Hi, I'm Ivan Zoot, and this is OneComb. OneComb took a couple of years of design and revision and prototypes and practice and testing to get it right for you. And I thought it would be cool in a video if I shared with you some of the pre-production prototypes that were responsible for getting us to where we are today with the introduction of OneComb. Let's take a look at a few things. This prototype right here, this is what started it all. This one was actually made on a 3D printer at the local public library. I took our first generation drawing and I uploaded it to the library server. Now it's a very low quality prototype in terms of its finish. You certainly couldn't even cut hair with it, but the only real purpose for the prototype at this level was to check for things like length and width and general shape. I wanted to make sure that it fit the hand in the approximate configurations that I had here. Prototype number one. Prototype number two, that's this guy. It isn't any different than prototype number one in terms of the drawing off of which it was based, but this one was sent out to a professional prototype manufacturer who created what would be a second generation or a better quality sample. You still can't cut hair with it. It's still rough, but the features are better defined, and it allowed me to start talking with my digital designer about where we needed to tweak the basic drawings to start to refine the comb to get it to where it would ultimately be. There are common features between the actual comb introduced to you and this second generation prototype, but there are lots and lots of differences. Now the next one here, prototype number three, is from a third manufacturer, a third prototyping house, where the prototypes cost a lot more money, they take a lot more time, and the quality is much, much higher. This prototype actually went through a process called vapor smoothing, where they expose it after it is 3D printed in a sealed chamber to a gas that causes a smoothing of the finish of the plastic. This one is almost haircuttable, but not quite. The quality is much higher, but we started to make some changes. I got to actually play with this one a little bit, and I quickly saw I've got some things that need to be changed or adjusted. Here's the next one. The next prototype is back. It's not vapor smooth like this, but you'll notice that the triple teeth have become shorter. They're shorter than they were on the prior prototype. The other change you'll notice was in the sectioning tip. When I was holding this comb in certain functions, that sectioning pick was stabbing me in the hand. So I needed to shorten it up just a little bit. And truth be told, in this version, it's really just a comb tooth. It's not quite the sectioning tooth I wanted it to be. So those are a couple of the big changes from this to this generation. The next generation comb, and again, this one was vapor smooth, so it's a higher quality. I actually cut hair. We got to prototype number 5 before I could actually even cut hair with it. Now we've got a gap here so that we have a more defined sectioning tooth. That was a big tweak that happened here. I was really happy with the triple teeth. I was really happy with the comb teeth here, but again, they went through another generation of change. We're getting closer to the actual comb. This prototype here saw me take the spine ridge to the other side. You'll notice in previous generations, the spine ridge was a lot bigger, heavier, and thicker. We've made it thinner. We moved it to both sides of the comb. Again, want to be conscious of ambidextrous and left-handed use. Some other key changes here. There was a little change in the design on the sectioning tooth over here, and we increased the spine thickness from the base of the teeth to the spine ridge on the triple tooth comb for functional purposes, so we enhanced it and improved it. The other thing you'll notice here, and we're getting super close to the final design, is look at the clipper cutting comb. The teeth on the clipper cutting comb, we took 2 teeth out and we spread the gaps in the teeth a little bit. These teeth were too fine. Remember I said I could start cutting hair? These wouldn't flow through hair really well. So there's a lot that goes into these designs. I would say this version of the comb is close because we've got the final tooth here, but not the final tips. We've got the final tooth height. We had the revisions to soften the shape of these teeth, and we're getting close to the comb that is now available for you. This one looks a little ugly, but this is a final prototype, came in white, and I then took a red marker and I made it red. I was going to spray paint it, but I made it red. I wanted to be able to cut hair with it, and spray painting will thicken up the teeth a little bit and compromise its functionality. I couldn't get all the surfaces red, but now we're at the point where we're also starting to work on the packaging card, and it was important to be able to see the comb on the card in the right color and really start to feel like we were getting to where we needed to go. The last prototype I have for you here, and this one you can tell it's a little darker red, but this is the final off-tool prototype that came from my mold manufacturer. So this is from the mold that will ultimately yield the comb. There's no more changes to make at this point. Now, this one is spray painted to get me my color, and it's, as I said, a little bit darker, and the spray paint caused the teeth to be a little bit thicker. So there was a little bit of concern on my part because we modeled these trimmer teeth off some of my favorite trimmer combs, and I knew they'd be right. But I had some concerns because these were thicker, but I knew it was the paint. So these are some of the things I learned along the way, but this was it, and I cut hair with this, and I practiced with this, and I confirmed that we got your OneComb the way we wanted it to be, and then we said go, and then we waited, and they produced them, and now we have them. And that was quite a journey. I think I've got 9 prototypes here, which I'm actually proud of the fact that it only took 9. I've seen people online talking about prototyping and talking about 25 and 30 revisions. But I had a clear vision of what I wanted to create, and I had an awesome, awesome, awesome designer to do the digital work to lay this out. So we've come so far from here, prototype number 1, where what was I really doing? I was confirming the basic idea of what I wanted to create to the final product here. We've come a long way, baby, and this is OneComb. Thank you all for your patience, and I can't wait for you to cut hair with OneComb and tell me what you think. When you reach for a comb, reach for one comb. You only need one comb.